On this edition of Lexington Now, the Living Arts and Science Center, 1 Lexington Grants, and Microplastics. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of March 16th, 2026. The Living Arts and Science Center has been educating people of all ages for decades. We caught up with them to talk about their programs and activities.
I'm Jeanette Tesmer. I'm the Executive Director of the Living Arts and Science Center. So the building, the Living Arts and Science Center, is located on the north side of downtown, so in between 3rd and 4th Street on MLK. We are in a historic home that was built in 1847 with our expansion built in 2010. So we're about to, 2016, not 2010, 2016. We're about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. That's why I had 10 on my mind. And we are currently standing in the yellow room. So this is one of our old classroom spaces that is open to the public, where people can come and create and design their own things, follow a project if they want to, but also just have the opportunity to be creative. This building was built, like I said, in 1847. There was an expansion around the turn of the century that was built by the Kincaid family, so K-E-A-D, there's a couple of Kincaids floating around Lexington, Central Kentucky. George Kincaid was a lawyer and met his wife, came to Lexington, decided to start his practice here. This building is particularly interesting that after the abolition movement happened, the Kincaids helped to form Kincaid Town, which is now the North End, East End area. And George helped to support individuals if they needed help with any of their legal needs. And so this building has seen lots of different iterations of itself, lots of additions, lots of amendments to it. So it's a really unique space that provides an interesting challenge sometimes to some of our exhibit spaces and the things that we do, but it really does hold the history of this community. Campsie Place, which is right adjacent to us, was named after a family member's stately home that was called Campsie Place, not far from here. And, over time was a boarding house at one point, and then was given to the Living Arts and Science Center in the 70s directly from the family. So we're the second owners of this building and this property. George Kincaid, one of the famous legal legalities that he produced was supporting Abraham Lincoln with something pertaining to his in-laws with some inheritance. I think the Mary Todd Lincoln House might have some more information for you. I've read through that case, but it's all written in very much legal jargon that I don't quite understand. But it is interesting that we do have that connection. George Kincaid helped, I believe he was an attorney general for some time. They were very private people, so there's not a lot written about them, but we can find some of his legal motions throughout state records in that regard. It's just that art and science, so really sharing with the community how art and science connect together and how we can explore, create, and be innovative throughout programming, throughout our after-school programs, through our summer camps, through no school day classes. We have adult programming too, so really that lifelong learning opportunity is something that we really truly try to explore and show people the connection between that is directly correlated with art and science. We've had this all throughout history. The invention of film was to settle a bet that used science and art to connect together to create film and to show that horse actually does get off all 4 feet. Cyanotypes and the beginning of photography was all science components that was representing art. The way that we produce Oil paints was also a scientific discovery that, became a simplified opportunity to support arts. So there's a lot of connections together, and we're here to explore that and to share that with others. We have spring break classes, which is great for families. We do really look at ourselves as a support for workforce development. A lot of times we have a more economical opportunity for parents to send their kiddos here instead of trying to find some private daycare that's one-off. And they get to have a lot of fun with their friends, hang out, and learn all about art and science and those opportunities. So upcoming is spring break. We have lots of family classes coming up as well. Saturday classes, there's adult programming, there's a few ceramics classes you can still sign up for in the spring, and then it's summer camp, summer camp, summer camp. So again, another great opportunity for your kiddos to still be able to have that engaged educational environment, but it's fun along the way, so they're not sitting through, the grime of, times tables and whatever else that kids do in school these days. Currently we have the Discovery exhibit, which is called Sown, Grown, and Served. So that's exploring farm to table from every part of agriculture, which is really great. That exhibit will actually change in the summer, and then we have that exhibit all throughout a year. You can see our Roots, Wings, and Wilds Things program, which is in our Kentucky room that showcases Kentucky flora and fauna. If you're not scared, we have 2 corn snakes. We've got 3 turtles, lots of native fish in there, as well as some other programming that connects back to Kentucky agriculture as well as environmental services. Space Lab, you can check out all the things having to do with space. There's a big rocket ship in there. There is a small video that UK students produced about, I believe it's a rocket ship going up to getting docked on the Artemis and then coming back down to Earth, which is kind of fun. And we're working on that exhibit too, expanding that and what that could look like to support the aerospace industry, actually, which is really awesome. And then, of course, we have 3 rotating gallery exhibits. So professional artists are shown in our 3 professional spaces, but we also have a lot of other community spaces as well. So you can come and see what those rotating art exhibits look like. So lasclex.org is our website. You can find all of our programming there. You can see what show we have showing in the planetarium. That's Lexington's only planetarium. You can also book a planetarium to come to you. We have a mobile planetarium that we take out to lots of schools and libraries. You can go on there and find more information about how to rent our spaces for either a child's birthday party or corporate meeting, if that's something that you're interested in. You can also donate there too, which is great. So lasclex.org.
One Lexington is offering their latest round of grants. Divine Karama talks about their focus.
My name is Divine Karama. I'm the director of One Lexington in the mayor's office, which focuses on youth and young adult gun violence. So every year we have our violence prevention grants, which is an opportunity for nonprofits in our ecosystem to apply for grants so they can do the work of addressing gun violence. We're big proponents of capacity building. Obviously, we are in government, but government can be volatile, right, with different election cycles and funding coming from state, federal levels. So we believe in building the capacity of those who are on the ground so that whatever happens in government, they're always going to be ready to continue to move the work forward. And so people can use our flyer, which has a QR code. They can go to Facebook or the city's website. Our fiscal agent is Community Action Council, so you can go to their website and apply as well. And they have until March 19th. It's covered a lot of different things. We've had youth groups that focus on drumming and music as a way for therapy and even trauma. We've had mentoring groups. We've had programs that funded alternative sentencing options for judges to utilize. everything to supporting survivors of gun violence. And obviously a big part of the grant is some type of messaging, whether it is flyers, yard signs, PSAs to raise awareness. And so it's really shown us how many people in the Lexington community are really locked in on this issue. And I would love to see the amount of the grant continue to grow so we can fund more programs. So grants start at about $7,500 and cap at about $10,000. And so that's a pretty large amount for each fiscal year. And regardless whether you win or not, you have the opportunity to apply next year. And so we've had some folks who have been awarded all 4 years. And then last year we had some organizations, it was their first time being awarded. And so seeing some innovative things that are coming down the pike as well. One thing I do want the community to know, because so many of the grant opportunities are really hard for the grassroots organization to be able to secure, we actually target those smaller grassroots organizations because those tend to be the people who are most connected to our most vulnerable folks. So we're letting folks know if you have a 501c3, that's great. But if you don't, you can apply through a fiscal agent or a larger organization that has a 501c3. So don't let that be a reason that you don't apply. But then also, we want to help you get your 501c3. So we got some resources for that as well, because we want you to be able to secure other funding. And so don't feel like you're too small or you're not experienced enough. Still apply. We'll look at the merits, we'll look at the work that you do, and the decision will be made based off of that. Email Larry Johnson, who's our community outreach coordinator, and you can contact him at ljohnson@lexingtonky.gov. But if all else fails, you could just go to our Facebook and Instagram page, which is just One Lexington, and everything is posted on there.
Right after this, Microplastics.
Have two ways out. When fire strikes, deadly smoke can fill your home within minutes. That's why the USFA wants you to plan and practice home fire drills. Draw a map of each level of your home showing all doors and windows. Discuss the map with everyone who lives with you. Practice your home fire drill at least twice a year. Make sure all doors and windows that lead outside open easily. Push the smoke alarm button to start the drill. Try feeling your way in the dark or with your eyes closed. Have at least two ways out of every room. If your first way out is blocked by fire or smoke, you can use your second way out. If there is smoke, get low and go. Crawl quickly under the smoke to your nearest exit. Close doors behind you and gather at a pre-planned outside meeting place where first responders can see you. Call 911. Remember, get out and stay out. Never go back inside for people, pets, or things.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Microplastics have become a big concern in recent decades. We caught up with Chrissy Balding, who gave us some tips on how to reduce them.
I'm Chrissy Balding. I'm an environmental initiative specialist with the City of Lexington's sustainability section. We all probably use plastic every day in some form or fashion, even if you don't think about it. So there's all kinds of parts on your car that are plastic. I'm wearing contact lenses. But specifically microplastics are, we try our best to recycle, but sometimes things just fall out of a pocket or a bag, and then that plastic sits there in the ecosystem. And unfortunately, it doesn't biodegrade. It breaks down into smaller and smaller plastics. It negatively affects the environment a few different ways. So when it breaks down, it's still plastic. So that might end up in your water, or if you have a garden, it might end up in your food. And we're trying to educate people about microplastics. Well, microplastics are really an issue that impact all of us. Even if you do a good job of recycling, chances are it may eventually end up in your water. So this is really to show people about how we can make small changes and cut down on the amount of plastic that we use. Microplastics are a relatively new field of study, but scientists have determined that we all ingest about a credit card size of plastic, so about that much every year. So we're not sure yet how to completely eliminate them, but there are things that we can do. So don't heat your food up in plastic containers. When at all possible, use real silverware instead of plastic forks. So small changes like that. I'd say even if you're a person who like stops and gets coffee on your way to work, try to bring your own cup as much as possible. The thing that keeps that cup from not burning your hand is actually paper lined with plastic. So especially if it's hot coffee, then that can break down. This event is put on by a group called Common Threads Lex. This is a partnership between our office, the University of Kentucky, and Fayette County Public Schools. So we're all working together. We're a sustainability-focused partnership to try to educate the whole community about some environmental issues. Microplastic Madness is a short documentary that we're going to be showing at the Kentucky Theater on Tuesday, March 24th at 7 p.m. and it's free, open to the public. Doors will open at 6 o'clock, and even though seats are free, we are encouraging people to register in advance just so we can make sure we have a spot for everyone. In that first hour, we're going to have tabling and networking with some environmental groups so you can learn how you can get more involved. And we will have a plastic-free swap that is facilitated by the UK and Fayette County students. So that will have water bottles and metal straws and things for folks to take, anything to kind of encourage them along on this plastic-free journey. And it's a short documentary. It follows a group of 4th and 5th graders in Brooklyn who started noticing this plastic pollution near their school and got really into researching it, and then they talked to their school leaders and they eventually went to city council to try to make some changes. Yeah, they can go to lexingtonky.gov/sustainability. And then following the film, we're going to have a short panel discussion. We have a researcher from UK who studies microplastics, along with our local Sierra Club Zero Waste Initiative group, and along with the FCPS sophomore who is really involved in trying to make a difference in her school.
Here's Randy again with this week's Adoptable Pets.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Lexington Fayette County Adoptable Pets from Lex TV and the Lexington Humane Society. Oh, would you look at Flick? He is a male, chocolate, white in color, looks like a pit bull mix, mature size is large, does well with other dogs, please meet and greet required, does well in apartments, also does well with children of all ages. Come on out and meet Ginger. She is a female, red and white in color, approximate age 7 years old, looks like a Siberian Husky mix, does well with other dogs, absolutely, does great in apartments, and does well with children of all ages. Come on out and look at adorable Greenie, black brindle, female, approximate age 1 year old, looks like a German Shepherd Siberian Husky mix, mature size is large, does well with other dogs, you must meet and greet is required, does well in apartments, and also does well with children of all ages. Thanks for watching these adorable and handsome pets, available at lexingtonhumanesociety.org from Lex TV and the Lexington Humane Society.
Tamika Holyfield of Human Resources has this weekend's events.
Hi there, I'm Tamika in the Human Resources Department. Here are some upcoming events this weekend in Lexington and Fayette County. Please note, events that require registration may sell out or fill up in advance. Be sure to confirm by visiting lexingtonky.gov/calendar. On Saturday, March 21st at 8 a.m., get your heart pumping at the Reforest Frenzy at Heisel Farm Park. Race options include the 1 mile dash, 5K or 10K, and proceeds from the trail race will help us improve our tree canopy by planting trees around Lexington. Registration is required and available online. Also happening at Heisel Farm Park on Saturday is a scavenger hunt hike at 9:30 a.m. with the help of outdoor program staff. You'll use a map and a compass to complete a 1-mile scavenger hunt around the park. Registration is required and available online. Then on Sunday, March 22nd, join us at McConnell Springs Park for Spectacular Springs, a karst topography tour at 2 p.m. This Water Week event will take you around the natural area and off the trails to explore the park's spring system. This event is free, but registration is encouraged. I'm Tamika, and that's just some of the things going on this weekend in Lexington and Fayette County. You may need to pre-register for some of these events. For more events and more information, be sure to visit lexingtonky.gov and click the calendar tab at the top. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
And here's Tamika again with the meeting coverage for the week.
Hi there, I'm Tamika in Human Resources. Here's our current live meeting schedule this week, March 16th, 2026 for Lex TV. Remember, you can watch all our live meeting coverage on Lex TV, channel 185, and always online at lexingtonky.gov. First up, on Tuesday afternoon, March 17th at 1, watch the Social Services and Public Service Committee meeting followed by the Council Work Session at 3. On Wednesday afternoon, March the 18th, watch the Board of Architectural Review meeting at 4. On Thursday, March the 19th, watch the Planning Commission Work Session meeting at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's our current live meeting schedule for Lex TV for the week of March 16th, 2026. Watch all our live meeting coverage on Lex TV, channel 185, or always online at lexingtonky.gov and click the Lex TV tab at the top. I'm Tamika, and we'll see you next time.
And in case you missed our live coverage of the Lexington St. Patty's Day Parade, you can check it out on our Facebook page. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on X at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.